Welcome to the Transform Sales Podcast, where forward-thinking business leaders come to share their experiences and ideas, learn from each other, and amplify their results together.
It's a pleasure to be here on another episode of the Transform Sales Podcast. Today, one episode for this sales software review series. We have Jonas joining me, CEO and founder of Space. Jonas, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Eddie. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. Today, we have an interesting episode. We're going to be talking about Space and how it has become a very important portal for SMBs, revenue leaders at SMBs particularly, that want to grow sales through partners and distributors. Tell us a little bit more about what this is. Help us unpack Space.
So, like 61% of all B2B companies on earth, they sell through a channel, like indirect through distributors or agents or resellers. And basically there's no support for that. So what we have made is a partner portal software that is like out of the box supporting that use case with partner enablement, partner engagement, and partner management.
Excellent. Now, when we talk about partner sales, you mentioned, hey, there's a large percentage of the market doing this. There's still a portion that haven't jumped on the game. It's not easy to jump on the game, but if you had to say, hey, the customers of Space, they were using XYZ alternatives before they came to Space, what would you say were those alternatives? Pen and paper? Is there another software? Something like that?
I mean, it's a great question. Obviously, every company have a CRM system. So in the bottom of everything, we have a CRM, but the CRM systems are built for direct sales. It's literally like that everywhere. So what happens in the organization is that you have all those kind of things that you need to enable your partners with. So if I start a new business and I want to get distributors in, I have to give them everything that they need at their fingertips to succeed. That might be marketing, sales, product material, but it might also be sales training, training in the value proposition, product training, those kind of things. So typically, the companies that we meet, they might have a CRM system, but then they have a scatter of different kind of applications to support the channel. It might be in content sharing, for example. The most used kind of tool is emails. And then after that, you might start sharing with Dropbox, WeTransfer, Google Drive, so those kind of things. It's kind of clunky, but it makes the job. When you start doing your training, you do that, of course, through live video training or on-site training. But when it starts to scale, you typically record videos through YouTube and you put them online and, hey, you ask your partners, look at that, and then everything is ready. Those who are more advanced, they go to LMS systems, learning management systems. So if we look at that, there's multiple different kind of tools that we now concatenate into one single source, one single point entry, both for the company and for the partners.
Wow, this sounds interesting, Jonas, particularly thinking about SMBs. You mentioned, hey, sometimes, and you have mentioned some of the tech stack, having a training platform in place where you can allow your partners to log in, to track their progress, to coach them, to provide them and nurture them with more material so they can sell your own products. It really sounds cumbersome if it's a small company, or it sounds like it's an expensive setup, something that only enterprise type of customers can have the luxury of embedding into their systems. So when it comes to, hey, why is it this important, right? Like, why is it? Yes, for the companies doing direct sales, that's fine. But for that other portion of your sales, which is through distributors, I can imagine that one of the main challenges is, if by not having all those resources to educate and enable my partners and distributors to sell my product, I risk not having consistent brand representation. Maybe they won't say or highlight the values the way I would do it myself. So those are some of the challenges that I can foresee SMBs may have when they're trying to enable their partners and distributors. What other challenges have you seen, Jonas, when it comes to not having the right software in place like Space to enable these partners and sales?
Yeah, so if you look at those who already have everything in place, they have it all, the big ones, the big companies. And the big companies very often have all the resources, they have the knowledge, they have the skills, they have the tech stack, they have everything. They have money so that they can buy that kind of solution for the large corps. But small companies who grow typically don't have it in place. And what happens then is that they start doing something, and after a while, when they scale, they start trembling on okay, what is actually going on in my channel? So just to give you an example there, if I bring in like 30 new partners, I go from one market to the other. If I go direct, I have my organization, my sales organization, I have my CRM system, I have 100% control over what we do. So I have leading indicators of success through my CRM. I'm looking in and see, okay, number of meetings, number of calls, number of whatever. But when you go indirect, you're in the hands of someone else. And that someone else is another organization running another CRM system. And they're selling other products than ours as well. So there's multiple layers on the challenges. There's both the layer on that it takes a lot of time to enable and engage and get partners up to speed. But there's also the lack of visibility, which creates uncertainty into forecast accuracy and into the deal pipeline, because we simply don't see through whatever is happening in the channel. So with that, it's different kind of challenges depending on who you are in the company. The CEO typically wants control. And then we bring control because you get visibility into metrics and KPIs that we can talk more about later. And for sales reps, we create an engaging touch point between the partner and the company where you can interact, you can engage them, you can activate and make sure that everyone on the partner side is trained and use our technology or use our material to share to end customers. And for marketing, who's always worried about, do they use the last version? Are we compliant? Are we on brand?
The right language, the right
they can
elevator pitch or logo.
Yeah. So that's basically like saving time, bringing control and visibility. And for the partners, they have everything at their fingertips. So it's a win-win-win.
I love that you mentioned control and visibility. Not too long ago, I was having a conversation with my CEO, specifically talking about PartnerStack, another software that tries to help companies manage their partner channel. And it's pretty interesting because you mentioned it's almost like the SMBs that are doing partner channels today. If they don't have an intuitive, comprehensive system to manage that, they're pretty much sending Hail Marys down a dark pit. There's no forecast. I know maybe I'll get some revenue, but it's just hope. I don't have a way to manage it, control it, visualize it, right?
Correct. So it's as a CEO, I always worry for the forecast, for the quarter, for the month. And what if I can't trust my organization and the partners? Then so many decisions get either frozen or simply, get out of line.
Won't be able to get executed. Let's say you're trying to raise a funding round and you expect to be at certain growth levels. Well, there's a part direct sales, as you mentioned, you can control those, but partner sales you cannot. And to come back quickly to this PartnerStack example, we noticed that one of the things they did was that originally PartnerStack had a Kanban board for partners to be able to see the deals that he had referred on which stages they were. It seems like nobody's using that because now they've also integrated with other CRMs to allow these partners to control those pipelines on the CRMs that they know and love, as opposed to...
Exactly.
So
I think
we can definitely...
you need to create a single source of truth, and through that entry point, and then automatically out in all CRM systems, ERP, case ticket management, or whatever it might be. But for the partner, they want one click.
Exactly. And this was interesting to see because PartnerStack is a software that I've heard many enterprises use. So I'm really excited to see what space has for us in that SMB space. Why don't you go ahead and show us, demo a little bit of the key features, share your screen and walk us through that, Jonas. I think that's going to be pretty interesting for the audience.
So literally, I think this is the great thing with this kind of video format instead of the traditional audio podcast, right? Because it gives me a chance to really show what we're doing. So what you see in front of you is a very small demo environment based on actually one of our accounts, one of our customers, Creative Labs, who's one of the world top leaders in technology, in audio, video, and those kind of areas. So we borrowed some of their images and way of working in this demo. So first and foremost, in the top of everything, we have a single source of truth, like a repository in space. And just to give a sense of how that looks like, in here, it might be that you have OneDrive, like Microsoft. Most companies that we work with run Microsoft, or they run Google Drive. So you can keep your single source of truth in your existing repository, or you can use our repository to keep on filling with unlimited storage. The second thing is that we set the template for how we want to work with partners in a dedicated market. Let's say the Scandinavian or the North European market in here, and I generate a space per partner. So these all are mastered from one single source. And I now have a one-on-one interaction as sales rep with my partner in Sweden, Norway, Denmark, UK. If I enter this space, a space can look just like you want it to be. It looks like a web page, but it's actually a full application that gets rendered. But you can highlight products. You can put in whatever, image, text, videos, PDF documents, or these kind of repositories with all your files that are relevant, only those who are relevant for that kind of market, and then they can book a meeting with you as well. You can design these as you want, and the partners, they can even chat with us. So they can ask questions, and these conversations get stored in there. So all our people get all the content and all the questions answered through one single source. It's shared with a link, or they log in. The thing with this is that is amazing for the sales organization is that we can now be in control of what's going on. You see small indicators here on each partners. I see it's green, yellow, orange, red, depending on the activity level. And I can even dig into the engagement level and see whether that partner has seen the latest price list, if they have taken the assessment or the course, if they're certified or not. And I can see that Jason Statham here, the old UK guy, he moved in here and he spent 26 seconds on that PowerPoint. So with this said, we have full control over what the partners are doing and how they interact with all our content, which means that at the end of the game here, we can get a company overview that can conclude all our partners, all our activities, and see who is most active or not. So we can benchmark them towards each other. And if I'm a marketeer, I can see all my files in SharePoint or in OneDrive or in my repository and see how they resonate and what is not used at all because it's probably obsolete. So this is a tiny, 2-minute demo of space or less. That's it.
Incredible. That's incredible, Jonas, because I can see how marketing leaders would absolutely love to have. These are, as we said at the beginning, enterprise level tools, because an enterprise company could pretty much build this partner portal and have these tracking capabilities of how long they've seen. But again, it takes time and resources. So you're providing that power to companies at a fraction of the cost of an enterprise platform, while still allowing the marketing leaders to see what's being consumed, what's not, what needs to go back into the drawing board to create more content. And because you have that channel, it allows people to communicate, not only allows me as the brand not only to see how my material is being used or not, but also talk to them. Is there anything you need? Do you like this? And give me some feedback.
Yeah, exactly. And feedback loops that's coming back. And what you see in front of you here is how, for example, our customers are also packing dedicated digital rooms, or what we call spaces, for different product lines. And they give that to their partners. So the partners can have everything about a dedicated product line, like these beautiful earphones that won the prize for the best earphones just recently. And then partner can share it with retailers or end customers just with a single click. And up in the top, our customer can sit there with their partner portal and look at exactly how the interaction goes, even all the way through all the tiers out to the end customer market. It's fun, actually.
That's a nice way to see the army of partners moving, activating, pushing the product, consuming the material, and how that trickles down. Now that creates, as you said it earlier, Jonas, the leading indicators for potentially forecasting my sales through my partners. If I can see that they're consuming material and how that material is resonating with the end consumer, then I can extrapolate, start to build some ratios, and start to put some forecast into my partner program, as opposed to before where I'm just sending, as I said, Hail Marys down a dark pit.
Yeah. Engagement correlates to result. So the more engaged, the better results at the end of the game.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you something. If I'm an SMB in the audience considering space to manage my partner program, what would you say are the tasks, deliverables, or people that I need to be aware of will be involved in setting up this software? And how long would it typically take me to reach full productivity?
This is a great question there. So we have built space for the small and mid-sized companies. We know that they have no time at all in their calendar. That's why it's so simple. So we have a turnkey kind of methodology where it takes 1, 2, or 3 hours of interaction time together with us to get onboarded with space. You can do it in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, depending on your schedule. But literally, you can be up and running as fast as an hour. Then, of course, we can support. During the first 30 days, we give an unlimited support to our enterprise customers, where we have designer, UX, UI designers, we have marketeers and experts in go-to-market, and a dedicated customer success manager who has that turnkey kind of thing to help the customer. So our customers typically, they bring in either one individual person from the marketing department, or they bring in marketing leader, sales leader, even the CEO is in. If you ask our customers, like great med tech customers where the CEO want to drive change, then the CEO is in here with the bare hands and navigating where to put the process.
Sure.
So you're very easy, but you can also use space as a driver for change, a driver for digital transformation. And I think that's the best of everything here, is that we actually can get going with something, but then we can continue to evolve, which we see that our customers are doing when we call it land and expand. We do something and then we just expand, and they find a new use case and another use case and another use case. And for every use case, we bring more value, obviously. So we get more valuable. And with that, we tighten our partnership together with our clients.
I like that. I like the tightening the partnership part, because it, as I said earlier, it's keeping cohesive that communication style, the brand representation, the product latest and greatest features that should be highlighted, same way on the website, then the partners are doing on-site, in the field, etc. I want to highlight a couple of things that you mentioned and maybe double click. You said 30 days of unlimited support to your enterprise clients. I want to recap. Enterprise doesn't mean that these are enterprise companies. It just means that they're buying your enterprise package or service, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Just wanted to clarify that for the audience in case someone was wondering. Bring on board different stakeholders. That's interesting. But I wanted to confirm, what are the channels? Do you have like a freemium model before they go into paid, or is it always a paid license?
That's a great question. We know that seeing is believing. So the whole thing is that we use space to sell space. So every customer that we meet in our model gets their own space. So seeing is believing. So you get the experience from the customer side already from the day one. Then we have a try for free, which is a 30-day where you can have one space and you can share it with your partner, key partner maybe, and get their feedback. But then we're going to the paid tier because we believe in the partnership and we believe in investing the time from our side and going all in, both from the company side and from our side as a vendor.
Awesome. So they do get a teaser, a 30-day trial to test space, create a space, and share it with a key partner to get a feel for how the motion looks like, get some feedback, and make up their mind. Now, would you talk me or walk me through what are the support channels, Jonas, both on the free versus the paid versions, and what type of channels can they access to support? Meetings, calls, chat, etc., or email? Please walk us through that.
Yeah, so we believe in staying close to the market. Where if you go out and Google us, you will find that we're very highly appreciated for our support and for the easiness of doing business with us. So we even give the try for freeze support during we set it up as 20-minute call to literally set it up and help our customer get going. But we're there. And we're there through all kind of channels, everything from the email, of course, through our web, of course, but also through the phone with an IRL web meeting if you need it. And when we come to our basic users or the basic tier, then literally we have that 30-day option where we have unlimited support still during the onboarding because we're there to help. But then we continue that support along with 365 days. So we're here for the clients. We're here through the channel that fits the clients. And very often I would say that it's just an email, but every here and that we just meet up to walk through something. And who knows, suddenly there's a new use case coming out of that. So it's a part of our land and expand strategy as well. The tighter we are, the closer we come, the more we share, and the more we can earn together in terms of value.
Fantastic, Jonas. And that's really what I wanted to get to. There's a lot of times software that have a freemium model, or yes, it's start for free, but it's a self-serve option. And in this case, you guys actually sit down with the client, have a 20-minute session, help them get set up before they even pay to try the platform. And once they subscribe to one of your paid plans, there will continue to be support through the channels and means that are convenient to the client. Is not limited to just phone calls, limited to just email, because that's the feedback that we've seen from the audience. Sometimes, yeah, they may prefer to send over an email if it's a quick bug, quick screenshot, how do I fix this? But sometimes they may encounter situations that it's hard for even to them to describe even over the phone. Jumping on a meeting where they can do sometimes a quick screen share, which you just mentioned is allowed for the paid users, can make a big difference.
I think that is so key critical here. We provide a virtual digital platform that helps them transform their business. That means that we provide a tool, but the tool is not everything, right? So there's a process, there's people that are to use the tool. So we're there to really make sure that you can evolve through both the organization and drive your digitalization, but also through the process of becoming more and more efficient. The tool is the enabler, but we have a great experience in, especially here in channel sales, of course, but all from the go-to-market perspective. So I think there's a mutual kind of value point here where we help each other, and the more customers we get, the more experience we get, and we share it with more clients.
Back with them. Yep. That's fantastic. And I think that's also really important for SMBs. They may have a hypothesis on how they want their partners to sell or how they believe they should enable their partners to sell. And by the time they get the space to scale this up and have better management and visibility over the process, they may realize through these sessions with your team that what they originally were providing, it was maybe a weak baseline or just not sufficient enough, or what they thought were the key points really was not making a dent in the end consumer or enabling the partners to sell. So your team can provide that guidance, that feedback. Hey, I recommend you come up with XYZ pieces that for them is going to be completely net new, revealing, and they're just saving some money in consultation by acquiring a product where the experts are the ones that build the product. That takes me then to my last question, Jonas, which is, what are the KPIs that your ideal customers, these leaders of revenue and SMBs, should be using to evaluate the results of space, and what quantifiable outcomes can they expect?
So if we take a platform like Space that helps enabling, engaging, and managing the partners, then what we see is that one of the hidden treasures under the hood in that relationship is engagement. So obviously we have engagement KPIs, which represent those kind of early leading indicators of success. So everything people do in the space gets measured, which means that we get an activity score that can show how engaged a partner organization is, even down to individual level. The second one is skill level, because if you bring in the learning capabilities inside Space, the learning management, you can literally maybe ditch your old LMS system and you can use it in here towards the partners. Then you also get the skill level. So let's say that I have two partners here. One has 10 people, 10 sales reps, and the other one has 5. In the 10 sales reps here, only 2 of them has taken my certification for the latest product line.
Right.
In one, 5 out of 5 have done it. So here's 100%, here's a 20%. So that gives some kind of score of the skill level. And if you take skill and engagement and you put them on 2 axes, you get effect. And that effect is revenue. So again, it's like skill engagement brings revenue at the end of the game. But how do we measure the 4th KPI, control? That is a very, very hard to measure. And it boils down into the gut feeling of the CEO or the CRO that opens their space and they see green lights all the way and feel. That's like, I haven't got a KPI on that as of today. So I deliver engagement skill, and of course revenue is behind the corner. But I think that trust, that level of trust that you can feel when you see through your chow is simply amazing.
It's almost like a peace of mind KPI, knowing that
Right?
KPI. It's like what tells me that the machine is well oiled and working and producing, and allows me to sleep peacefully at night as a chief revenue officer, as the revenue leader, right?
Yeah,
that's interesting, Jonas. Well, there you have it. Skill plus engagement equal revenue when it comes to partner channels. If you are curious and want to learn more about Space, you are welcome to visit at the CloudTask marketplace. Head over there and you will probably find Space, and we'll be able to set up a meeting with Jonas and his team to get set up on a free plan that you can later transition into a paid plan. Jonas, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show, and I hope to catch you in a future episode.
Thank you very much, Eddie. It was a pleasure to be here.